So where is my new T-Mat and what are some of the builds? All right, let's go over these. All right, we have a Chloe Griffin Knight. Now, I know what you're thinking. She's on Levin Sword, but in reality, I had her using Wadao for most of the time, and she's just been on speed +2. Now, some of these enemies, if she crits them, she will kill them, but she probably is going to need sword power to continue killing with Wadao. Now, she's using Erica Engraving, which is also high risk, but if she stays on Erica the Emblem, she does get luck increase, which does reduce incoming crits, so if she just maxes out her bond level, she should be okay, actually. This build, the Levin Sword is making it better, but the Wadao, early on, it was kind of okay at times. You're better off running a Killing Edge. I just wanted to see if I could make a Wadao build that was good, and this turned out to be okay. Now on Erica, you do get the Lunar Brace damage, so as long as you crit, if you get Lunar Brace plus, you should be killing. And if you get the luck up from bond level 10, I think you get luck plus 10, that will offset the incoming crit rate. So like right now, she doesn't have any negative dodge, which means that she doesn't have positive incoming crit rate. So if the enemies have some crit, she might get crit. If she's near Tamara and she gets Erica bond 20, she should be fine. She should be able to get away with running that. All right, and then on Anna, now you might be thinking this is a Levin Sword build, but it actually started out as a Killing Edge build, and I just started running Levin Sword just to see if she could pull it off, and it turns out she can. So Anna can use Levin Sword on Wolf Knight fairly well. Here's her speed on it. So she's -3 speed, so the +3 speed just kind of breaks even, and then she's 28 speed otherwise, which is very fast for this part of the game. Now, she is better off being on Mage Knight, but originally this was a Killing Edge build with sword power, with the idea being she goes for crits that are boosted by sword power. So this is the build. Jade, this build isn't completed yet. We have Resolve. She needs Gentility. I can unlock it for her. Like, I can get Gentility. I want Resolve Plus and Gentility Plus, and I want her on Corin. I just want to see how she does. So far, she's basically just a bad Tamara. Like, she gets doubled by things and takes too much damage, and it's not really worth it, but we're trying it anyways. Now on Amber, we just left him on Paladin. He does have speed +3, and he's on Lyn. And funny enough, his damage is high enough from his strength and strength growth that he can one-run most things, even without sword power. So this is a very cheap build. You basically just throw Lyn on Amber, and he becomes decent. Now, the Steel Lance +5 could be replaced with Fencelar for more damage. I just went with Steel and Marth for some crit, so he has like a little bit, maybe like 10 to 30% crit against certain enemies. And for his other passive, we could max out speed to +5 and then get him Lance power like 2 to 3. That's probably all he needs. For Tamara, I wanted to do a Sigurd build, so she has engraved Killer Lance and engraved Javelin. She can kind of enemy phase on the Javelin, but really this build is going for crits on Killer Lance and using Sigurd's mobility plus the momentum damage, so you can get +10 damage when you engage. And eventually you could get +11, because when you engage you get +5 move, and you get +1 move by default. So you just double, go for Lance power, go for the damage, and go for crits. Now, unfortunately, you can't crit override, but you can Sandstorm override. So right now, she is 25 dex, so 25% chance to Sandstorm. She usually kills off of the crits, which is decent. She has like a 60 to 70% chance to crit right now. And this is without using Wrath. This is like a decent lower investment build, assuming, like, you could probably get away with running Lance Power too. And you could switch her engraving to Corin, but you are going to lose a little bit of accuracy, so depending on what you're attacking, could be worth it. And then Alear, I just wanted to try Wolf Knight Alear. I switched to daggers when I want to stack poisons with chain attacks, so Alear's on Lucina. So Alear can bond Anna, Amber, this Louis, but really just like Anna and Amber. Anna's like the main bond target if I want to bond, and she can 1 to 2 range Levin Sword. So she's basically a Mage Knight. I just wanted to see how the crit build worked out on Anna, and then I also wanted to test Levin Sword afterwards, and it does pretty well. It's decent. It has good damage output. She's very fast. She makes you a lot of money. Right now, her luck is 25, and once we get Byleth bond level 20, she'll be plus 6 more luck, so she'll be 31 luck, which is pretty good. So there's that. But this build, it's respectable. If I upgraded Folkvanger to max and then max out sword power, it usually doubles, it usually one rounds. It doesn't double in one round everything, but it's a decent mid to like early to mid game build. Late game, obviously you'd want higher sword power, so you're going to be dumping tons of SP into the build. So I kind of don't recommend running a lot of these at the same time. And then Louis, he just kind of fell off. I tried running him on Great Knights. His damage is just low. Now, he doesn't have any passives, but if I were to give him like speed, he's not going to double things. If I were to increase his defense, maybe it helps. He just takes too much damage and his res is too low. Now, this is an underleveled unit because you can't feed everything XP. But he fell off a long time ago, and now he's just kind of there. Pandreo, these are just filler. These are all just filler. Same thing with Fram, so these are just filler. So of the builds I've tested, which of them are good? The Chloe build is obviously good because it's 11 sword build. Originally it was a crit build. As a crit build, I kind of don't recommend it. It's kind of, I just wanted to see what would happen if I ran some crit builds on like some weaker characters to see if they could pull it off. Now if she had sword power on crit build, it'd probably be better. But even, you know, even with sword power, Wadao plus, even if it's +5, without a crit engraving early game, it's just like low damage, and with a crit engraving, it's decent, but you're better off using the Killing Edge. It just does more damage. Now this Killing Edge build was decent. A lot of times she would one round off of might, but as we enter the end game, that's not going to be the case. And obviously Wolf Knight Anna doesn't have the best strength growth and has better magic growth, as you can see here. She has base magic 16 versus base strength of 12, so she's just kind of popping off in that way. And then for the Amber build is actually decent. If you don't have a unit who's going to be taking Lyn, or you don't have a plan for Lyn, you can just throw Lyn on Amber Paladin, and he will do enough damage and double a lot of things. Now he will still want like speed +3, but right now he's 24 base speed, and then as he gets his speed taker going, he can get up to 34 speed. So he's fast enough with Lyn to double consistently once he gets like a kill or two. But outside of that, he's not going to be doubling unless you throw him like Halberdier and go for like pincers or something. Now he could be put on Wolf Knight to increase his speed a bit. He does lose, I think, 1 or 2 build, but he would get better speed growth and base speed, which would help him out. So maybe he doesn't need speed +3 and he can just run like damage passives. But his damage is pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's good enough where when he doubles, he one rounds. So if he gets Lance power, he will probably be one rounding for the rest of the game. The Tamara build, the crit build, this is a decent build. So I didn't use defense or res boosters on her, which I usually do. I did use 1 strength booster just because, you know, it's a crit build, 1 damage. The other units, if I were to use boosters, I'd probably hit Anna and Chloe with the other spirit dusts, and maybe hit Alear with a strength booster, and then save their last strength booster for someone else. But these are the builds. Overall, nothing crazy, nothing that breaks the game. The idea behind the Jade build was that I wanted to increase her res with Corrin and her health with Corrin, and then run Resolve and Gentility, so we'll see how that works out long term, I guess. But for now, it's just whatever. It's decent. It's not the best thing. She's pretty slow. So yeah, that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Feel free to drop a comment as to any weird builds you run, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.